There's only one way I can judge that, and that was an executive watched Halloween without music in it because I needed another job and didn't find it scary at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not at all. Said, these kind of movies don't scare me. Put it down. I know, well, we need some music on this, baby. Yeah. Jason is a really famous and powerful horror producer in Hollywood. And he's produced a lot of really great movies. And he came to me and said, hey, let's make a really good Halloween. Let's make a great one. And would you come on aboard? And you can't say no to that. That is exactly right. It's not about money, it's not about anything. It's about let's make a great movie. So I was impressed with that.
Most horror fans' favorite movie is Halloween. Considering the movie's 40 years old, that is an extraordinary feat. And so John made that movie. And we had a young executive in our office, a guy named Brian Turek, who was Halloween obsessed, and his excitement was kind of infectious. And it certainly worked on me. And so it felt like there was time to kind of reinvent it. But I talked to the rights holders, and I said I really wasn't going to go forward and didn't want to reinvent it unless John did it. And I remember actually when we were talking, I said it's probably going to get made with or without us. It'll be better if you and I get in there, and I'm not doing it without you. And so that was kind of how it started.
Excuse me, somebody's in here.
Hello?
Frankly, there is no secret recipe. It's everything starts with a story, with a great story. So Jason and I aren't some wizards who sit back and say, oh, what can we put into this to make, it doesn't work that way. And it's very hard to make a great horror movie. It's difficult. It's difficult to come up with the right story and the right tempo and everything. So, and there's also a little bit of magic involved in it. Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit.
I would agree with everything that John says. What makes a great horror movie is not what people think. What people think is it's the scares. But I always say, you know, our movies should work as great dramatic pieces if you take all the scares out. I think you should definitely say that about John's Halloween. And I think most great scary movies need to work acting, dramatic story. They need to be great stories. The scares are the bonus, and they seem really scary when that other stuff is working. You can have the best scares in the world. If the stories aren't working, it's not going to be scary.
True, just true. Let me just say one thing to you. It's always better to have more money than it is to have less money. Don't kid yourself. You know, when you have a little bit of money to make a movie, and you really want to make it, there are ways of simplifying things. That's what you have to do. You have to simplify scenes, and you have to have actors that are willing to go with you. And that's the way you do it. You simplify. Having more money and more time, oh, that's great. The greatest.
Well, we agree to disagree on this. I think, but of course, it's easy for me to say because I'm not directing the movies. I'm torturing the directors, so it's easy for me to say. But I personally think, and I don't think this of all genres, not true of action, not true of superhero movies, not true of most genres. But I think horror is better when you have less money because it forces it tortures the directors, but they come up with very creative, elegant ways. And I think when you have a lot of money on a horror movie, and I can name a lot of examples, directors lean a lot on special effects because that's an easier thing to do. And I think that's not as scary. But of course, like I said, easy for me to say because I'm not the one in the hot seat.
Hard to argue with that, coming from the man here. What I want to know from you is, when are you going to direct?
Never. I'd be a terrible director.
Oh, and you know
and
you
a terrible
wouldn't?
writer. Terrible.
You have the energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah, but I can't keep that. I couldn't keep it in my head. I have no desire.
I would love it.
I
I want to be there on the set when you
never
direct.
gonna
That's
happen.
all I care about.
One of my strengths as a producer is I have no desire to write or direct.
You've never gotten like the inkling?
Not even 1%. I will never write or direct a movie ever. It's not something I could begin to do.
Well, my feelings were disconnected from the reality. Halloween was a word-of-mouth movie, so it started very slowly. It wasn't a big success right away, and it wasn't a critical success, and it built over time. So I was on to other things by the time Halloween kind of was a hit, so I didn't feel it.
And it was a hit slowly, which
Oh, yeah.
it's a very different feeling.
Yeah. Yours was right away, wasn't it?
Right
Bango?
away. We knew it. Yeah, we knew it right away. Yeah.
I've never heard you talk about that, Paranormal Activity. What was it like?
Halloween is a much more iconic movie than Paranormal Activity. They were both commercially successful movies. Paranormal Activity, the first thought that comes into my mind is that it was deeply satisfying because it was a movie that I believed in, that I couldn't get distribution for 3 years.
Is that right?
The movie was finished in 2007. It was released in 2009.
I don't understand.
Everyone saw it and said it wouldn't work, and it was going straight to video. So it was I felt very, so I would say if there was one word, it was vindication. It was a great, great feeling.
The audience really attached to it, didn't they?
And they got it. They got it.
I loved it. Oh, yeah.
There's nothing to be scared of.
Are you sure? How?
I killed him.
Well, Jamie Lee came in red for me, and she just has an innate talent. And I mean, she's beautiful and energetic, and she knew exactly how to play that role. And I would say the same exact thing today. She knows how to play the modern Laurie Strode. And there's a different Laurie Strode than the teenager. And I think she's terrific in it. Terrific. Would you not agree?
It was perfect casting. This doesn't happen a lot where it's actually a fun person to be with also. There are a lot of great actors who aren't so fun, so that's a bonus. She's just a great person, but she's incredibly talented and connected to the character that John created in a magical way. That's kind of like when John was saying, you need this and you need this and you need this and you need some magic. I would definitely say Laurie is part of the magic.
Absolutely. It's simple and it's direct. That's the reason I think it connected with audiences.
And that was new.
Yeah,
And that
I
was
agree
new.
with you.
Yeah. And that had never been done before.
If you think about great horror movie scores, one that comes to mind immediately is Psycho. And you think of the scenes in Psycho. Bernard Herrmann, who was the composer of that music, did only use strings. Only. And it has a real strange feel to it, but it's simple and direct. That's what Halloween was. I don't necessarily think so. I think you could do a silent horror movie and be really
scary,
frightening.
yeah,
Oh,
it could
yeah.
be frightening.
Oh, yeah.
Like The Quiet Ones, they made a great use of no sound. It's very deliberate, but they made a great use of no sound.
Yeah, you could do that. So it's not everything depends on music. There is no formula. I go back to that. There's no formula for horror. And I think it's story, and Jason thinks the drama has to play.
Yeah.
Without the scares, but we agree on that. One thing we agree on.
We agree on a lot.
Horror is the most durable genre in motion pictures, in cinema history. Cinema started with horror back in the silent days. Horror reinvents itself every generation. New filmmakers come along and they find a new way to tell terrifying tales. And that's what's so great about it. So I have a great deal of faith in horror. And Jason is part of the reinvention, the recent reinvention of horror. But look at Get Out. It's unbelievable. And who would have thought horror from Frankenstein to Get Out? But look what happened. So it's being reinvented by brand new filmmakers, and I'm applauding them all the way.
Can't say better than that.